Tyler Jubair is a 15-year-old kid from East London. Around 2021, he figured out that he was pretty good at this thing called SIM swapping. If you're not familiar with what SIM swapping is, it's basically when a bad guy calls a telephone company and pretends to be you. Let's say they call T-Mobile, Verizon, AT&T, whoever. Pretending to be you, they tell the employee that their phone is broken and that they need that phone number transferred to a new device. And if they're convincing enough and the telephone company does it, they now control your phone number, your two-factor authentication codes, your password resets, bank alerts, everything tied to your number. All your text messages go to their phone now. No malware, no hacking. This is social engineering. And Tyler Jubair was good at it. By early 2022, Jubair joined Lapsus, a hacking group run mostly by teenagers. The suspected leader was a 16-year-old kid from Oxford who went by the alias White or Breachbase. Between February and March 2022, Lapsus went on a rampage. They hit NVIDIA first. They stole a terabyte of data, internal documents, schematics, employee credentials. They also hit Samsung. They got 190 gigabytes of internal files, source codes for Samsung's Galaxy phones, biometric unlock algorithms, everything. And they hit Okta, the identity management company that protects thousands of other businesses. And they weren't quiet about it. They posted everything on a public Telegram channel. They would join Zoom calls at companies that they breached just to mock the security teams trying to clean up the mess that they made. In March 2022, the UK police arrested 7 Lapsus members. But Jubair wasn't a part of that group. He had already cut ties and moved on to other operations. These aren't traditional criminal organizations. There's no hierarchy. There's no formal leadership. Just a loose network on Telegram and Discord. Hundreds or thousands of members across various channels, mostly young, mostly from English-speaking countries, United States, the United Kingdom, Canada, Australia. They share techniques in these group chats. They collaborate when it's useful and split when it's not. But there's no structure. You can't cut the head off because there isn't one. You arrest 10 people and 20 more keep operating under different names. Some channels are explicitly criminal. Others exist in gray areas. Some members commit serious crimes and others just watch and learn. And then there's this thing called violence as a service. In these groups, there's posts soliciting IRL jobs or in real life assignments. Someone needs a brick thrown through a window in Phoenix. Someone else needs tires slashed in Toronto, a Molotov cocktail thrown through a window, swatting, drive-by shootings, home invasions. These group chats, this collection of communities, is what is called the COM, short for the community. This is where Jubair's new group emerged. Around 2023, Jubair became an important member of Scattered Spider. Security researchers who track the group say he was one of the 4 principal operators, one of the 2 most core players. CrowdStrike, one of the world's leading cybersecurity firms, say that he was running operations, leading attacks, and managing infrastructure. Scattered Spider is associated with many different hacks, but they specialize in one thing in particular: calling IT help desk and gaining access. They would scrape a company's LinkedIn page and look for employee names, job titles, departments, organizational structures. They would monitor the company's social media accounts and look for details about recent hires, office locations, who reports to who. They would gather any public-facing documentation, any IT support pages, or employee handbooks that were accidentally posted online. Anything that could reveal an internal process that they could exploit. They would build detailed profiles on these companies, and then they would call. Hey, this is Michael from accounting, and I'm working from home today, but I can't get access to my email. I don't know what's going on, and my phone's not getting the codes for the authenticator. Can you help me out and just reset my password? That's a simple script, and it's believable. Help desk workers get these calls all the time. The caller knew an employee's name. They knew he worked in accounting, and he sounded frustrated, but he was polite. As a help desk worker, you would feel inclined to help. And if the first few calls failed, that's fine. They're collecting information. If they were asked for security questions like mother's maiden name, first pet, city you were born, they would research those answers. Social media makes this really easy. If I can find you on LinkedIn, I can probably search your name on Instagram or Facebook, see what pictures you post, see who you tag in your photos, and really begin to find the answers to these questions. Then they will call back a different help desk worker on a different shift. They would keep trying different times, different workers, different approaches. Persistence was built into the strategy. Once inside the network, they would move fast, identify valuable data, customer information, financial records, proprietary business intelligence, source code, whatever the company considered most sensitive. They'd encrypt everything, thousands of files, sometimes millions, all locked behind encryption that they controlled. Servers would crash, employees lost access to critical systems, operations halted, no email, no customer databases, no financial systems, everything stopped. And then the ransom demand would arrive. Pay us in Bitcoin, or we release your data publicly and you never get it back. Between May 2022 and September 2025, Jubair participated in at least 120 attacks. Two of the victims paid over $25 million each. Another paid $36.2 million. Overall, the total ransoms collected by Scattered Spider is well over $115 million. And that number only accounts for what law enforcement could prove. January 8th, 2025, Scattered Spider called the U.S. federal court system's help desk. Through social engineering, they got someone to reset a password. And with that password reset, they got in the system and took over 3 accounts. One belonged to a federal judge who presides over criminal cases. They searched all through the judge's email. They were looking for specific terms: subpoena, Scattered Spider, the names of hackers facing charges. They wanted to know what law enforcement knew about their operation. They were trying to see what evidence existed and who else was under investigation. Now, the FBI had been tracking Scattered Spider for years. Bitcoin isn't anonymous. Every Bitcoin transaction is recorded on a public blockchain. It's permanent, traceable, and visible to anyone who knows how to read it. Investigators use blockchain analysis tools to trace ransom payments from victims to specific cryptocurrency wallets. Those wallets kept moving funds, trying to obscure the trail. They were splitting money and routing them through multiple addresses. This is the standard money laundering in cryptocurrency. But eventually, these multiple wallets traced back to servers Jubair controlled. There was $36 million sitting in these servers. This wasn't Jubair's personal money. This was the operational money. Ransom payments waiting to be distributed amongst the other members. Again, he's being looked at as the treasury for the cybercrime group. Here's where Jubair fumbled the bag. Jubair has all this money under his control, and he's trusted with the infrastructure. He's managed these ransom payments. He's been running these operations for years now. But he used some of this crypto to buy gift cards, gaming gift cards, registered to his real name. And he used some of the crypto to have pizza delivered to his house through DoorDash. No luxury cars, no real estate, not even really expensive restaurants, just pizza and video games, regular teenage stuff. And on May 13th, 2024, those gift cards were used for an Uber Eats order, a pizza order, delivered to Jubair's East London apartment. So there was a direct line from international cybercrime to a food delivery. Security researchers say that Jubair was extremely careful, that he used amnesiac operating systems. These are systems that are designed to forget everything when you shut them down. They leave no traces. He used multiple VPNs to hide his locations, multiple aliases, all of these elaborate precautions. But in the end, he got because he linked his real name to a pizza delivery. But the FBI couldn't arrest him. He was in London, and they have no authority in the UK. They could seize the servers and cryptocurrency, but they couldn't fly to East London and grab him. They needed UK cooperation. Building an extradition case takes time. There were 6 countries that had to coordinate: the United States, the United Kingdom, Netherlands, Romania, Canada, and Australia. They had to trace every transaction and connect all 120 attacks. Everything has to be airtight for international prosecution. So now it's August 2024, and Scattered Spider is on the move again. They hit London Transport, the city's transit system. 8 million people use it daily. Underground trains, buses, the whole network was hit. They stole the personal data of thousands of customers. They got names, addresses, contact details, bank account information. It took months to fully recover and cost nearly 40 million euros in damages and recovery expenses. This finally gave the UK authorities to build their own case, but it still took about a year to finally arrest Jubair. Early morning of September 16, 2025, they grabbed him at his East London apartment. He was 19 years old. Jubair faces charges in 2 countries: wire fraud, computer fraud, money laundering, and conspiracy. If convicted and extradited to the United States, he faces up to 95 years in prison. This $115 million operation ran on one technique: social engineering.